Well, hello everybody, welcome to my first topic video on this channel. This is the 50% Doctor Who podcast channel. It's where we upload the footage versions of our podcast. We didn't do it for a while. We started off doing it strong in season 1 with just the audio, and now we actually, I think it was from Town Called Mercy onwards, we upload the actual footage. Sometimes we meet up in person, sometimes I sit in this exact spot and review the episodes through Zoom with Aiden. Been trying to do it more and more in person with Aiden because it looks so much better, and if I do eventually have to just sometimes Zoom from home, I do want to make it look better, and I'm working on that. But until then, this is going to be a new thing that I wanted to start in 2022. 2022, can you believe it? 22. What's that shit about? I can't wrap my head around it. All right, it's just weird times. I'm sick of hearing about Novak Djokovic trying to get into my country to play tennis when he's not vaxxed. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing about the bloody coronavirus. I kind of just want to sit back and talk about Doctor Who. And Doctor Who's been an amazing escapism for me. Literally doing this podcast has been amazing. I do also want to add that there's going to be little to no cuts during these videos, at least for now, because I want to just be able to sit down, do a video, and quickly edit it and get it out. And if I can do it like this, where there's literally no cuts, like the podcast, it means I'll be able to do more, which I want to do. Something about sitting down talking about Doctor Who makes me all warm and fuzzy inside, so I thought, why not? I've got some things I want to say. We've been talking about doing them for a while, like these little topic videos. And yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do today. So it's good to be here. Thank you for tuning in if you are. It also is going to bring a bit more traction to the Doctor Who YouTube channel, our 50% Doctor Who podcast YouTube channel, which is what you're on, where, you should subscribe if you haven't already. What are you doing? Subscribe, please, for me. We're working hard on making the videos better on there, and you'll have these to look forward to. Also, before we get into the video, excuse my horrible hair and my beard. I promise you I'm getting it done in the next couple of days, but I've just been busy, okay? Been busy. Alright. And I guess one last thing, I do kind of want to keep these videos a bit short. I need to do this intro here, so normally we'll just be jumping straight into it, about the 3-minute intro, but obviously we'll sort that out and we'll do better as they go along. But today we're going to be talking about why Jodie Whittaker's Doctor gets so much hate. And I hate saying that. I don't like, I hate when I see people, unless they deserve it, online getting hate. It's not fair. I don't think it's right. And I think a lot of the hate towards her Doctor is unjustified. But I think you'd be lying if you said it isn't there. I think for a while people tried to avoid it and not really acknowledge it, which is fair enough, but I think not so much anymore. Not since, I think, Flux happened. I think people kind of enjoyed the Flux, which is good, but before that, especially around season 11 and 12, there was such a weird hatred in the community, which made liking Doctor Who a bit of a chore, I think. And that's depressing, and I know it hurt a lot of people's feelings, including myself. Twitter, Doctor Who Twitter, it's still not perfect, but it used to be fucking god-awful. And a lot of Who-tubers, I hate that name, but I guess I am one in a way, a fellow Who-tuber is saying this. I saw people just tweeting about having to take breaks, the fact that even just talking about the show has just brought them to fucking horrible parts in their mental health. It's brought them to tears sometimes. It's hard. It's not sounding great, and I think a lot of it's got to do with this hatred around Jodie, which is hard. I think ever since Stephen left, and there was still hate, believe me, when Stephen was around. I think people forget to acknowledge that, but it was nowhere near as bad as this. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why she gets so much hate. And I want to say as well, this is not a Jodie hate video, because I love Jodie. I think she's a lovely actress. I think, although she is my least favourite New Who Doctor, I think she clearly really cares about the character. She literally was on Graham Norton a couple of months ago before Flux aired, saying how, even talking about the fact that she's left, or even when she was on the set filming her last couple of scenes, was just so heartbreaking for her, and that clearly shows that she cares, and I don't think it's right at all to give her hatred. I think, if you're going to ask me, if it's down to two things, maybe three, but the third one's a bit controversial, so I might say it a bit later, But for me, I think the first thing, what was wrong about the writing for Jodie, well, yeah, number one was the writing, I think, for Jodie. Like, I think that's why a lot of people disliked her Doctor. Now, there's a difference between disliking her Doctor because you didn't like the way the show is going, or like the plots and like her Doctor. That's okay, but there's also, I think, a lot of people who just disliked her instantly because she was a woman, and they really disliked Chibnall's writing. And I feel like there's a big group of people who simply were just there to hate it and would hate it regardless if it was really good or not. And that's obviously not right. And it's a weird spot we're in, I think, at the moment where that is the case, where there are just people who, I don't want to say half because I don't think it even is half, but there is obviously a percentage of people out there who send that hatred out in the community who do think that, the Doctor just shouldn't be a woman, and that's it, and that's that. But I think a lot of it was down to, like I said, the writing. I like Chris Chibnall. I really liked the first season of Broadchurch. I thought the last season was okay, and the second season was pretty good too. But would I say he's the writer that they should have picked for Jodie's era? No, I wouldn't at all. It was actually quite a surprise considering the stories that he had written previously in Doctor Who were far from fan favourites, like very far from it. So that kind of made me question why exactly they picked him. I do really think it was from the success of Broadchurch, which I believe when season 11 aired, I think the third season had only just stopped airing maybe a year and a bit before season 11 aired. So it was finished and it was still hot. It was still hot from the kitchen and everyone was still loving it. So I think that's why they picked him, which, to be fair, I kind of get. But one of my biggest criticisms, I think, is just the BBC. I think they definitely took this idea, and I think it was Chris Chibnall as well who really wanted to do a female Doctor, and I think he was really adamant about bringing Jodie in as well after working with her in Broadchurch. I do think that there was a big part of the BBC kind of like doing like a bit of this, going like, okay, we're going to get some fucking great press from this, and they did. Season 11, episode 1, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, was one of the highest fucking viewing figures for Doctor Who. It worked really well. So it did work because the news got out. It was like, made fucking news everywhere because it was the first female Doctor. And that's fine, but part of me does think that a lot of it was not done under the right circumstances in the sense that I think, was it done for now giving girls a role model, like a female role model, or was it done for money, bit of money? I don't know. I do think it's a bit of both, because obviously the BBC are like, yeah, we're so good, look at us, we're all there for all the rights for women, which of course, as a society we should be, but part of it I think is obviously money. And yeah, for a lot of the time it worked, I think. I don't think their hearts were in the right places for bringing in Jodie or just a female Doctor the whole time. But I think most of the time, their hearts were in the right places. But I don't get how... Well, number one, why there wasn't a head female writer. That just makes sense, doesn't it? If you're going to bring in your first female Doctor, why not bring in your first female head writer? Because surely if anyone's going to understand how women work, it's a woman. Like, is that just me, or is that just a fucking stupid idea from both parties? Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of weird for us to... the Doctor is a weird person to write for, even with a sex, because I always looked at the Doctor as pretty much, like, without a gender. Like, his gender, or her gender, didn't matter. But I guess if they are going to go and play that card about them being, like, so for women's rights and the right for a woman to play the Doctor... They really didn't lean into that at all. And if they were going to do it, I think the best way they could have done it was to bring in a female writer to be the head writer, or even just like here and there. Why weren't there more female writers? Half and half. Like, there's 10 episodes. Do 10 male, 10 female. Bring in female directors. I know they're doing that a bit more. The next episode to come out, which is going to be the second last episode for Jodie Whittaker, is actually directed by a female, which is great. More of that, maybe. Like, come on. Like, if you're going to do one thing, which is going to be, like, hiring a female to be the Doctor and make such a big deal out of it, how can you then not go the extra mile and be like, okay, we'll hire more female directors. We'll hire more fucking female writers. My second point, though, is just the direction. What was Jodie's Doctor stand for? I still don't know. All I really think she stands for is I'm quite socially awkward and I want to talk about my feelings. I didn't know I was in Doctor Who. It's like that's my parallel of Doctor right now. I'm quite socially awkward and I don't like to talk about my feelings. That is it. That's all I can think about when I think about her Doctor. She likes to hide from things, and that's kind of it. There is nothing like Eccleston, just the Time War completely destroyed him. David, like, just hides behind all his pain from being this smart, handsome guy who can get what he wants because he's charming. Smith, the man who regrets, like the man who forgets and the man who regrets. And then we got Capaldi, who's trying to right his wrongs, but also is just bitter and old. Like, Jodie, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I really don't. And I don't for 1 second think that is Whittaker's fault at all, because she didn't fucking write it, okay? This is what we pay. This is what the BBC, well, to be fair, isn't BBC, like, funded by people in the UK? I haven't been there for a while, so I've forgotten. But this is what people get paid millions of dollars each year to do. And they, after 3 seasons, still don't have an arc. And it's the main character. And it's like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, that just simply just does not make sense. And I can't honestly wrap my head around it. There is literally no direction for her character. I don't even think we've had a speech. If we have, they haven't been good. I think there was a little moment in Eve of the Daleks, which just came out literally a couple of days ago. This is the 12th today. It came out for us in Australia on the 2nd. So literally like 10 days ago. Like, I think that was a speech, kinda, I guess. But her seasons were just slow and boring, and there's nothing wrong with a slow show. There's nothing wrong with a dialogue-driven show. I love dialogue-driven shows in movies. It's fine. But when the dialogue is not interesting, you can't have a dialogue-driven show or a boring show. It doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. Her first season, season 11, is definitely my least favorite season of the show. I think it's really pants. Like I just said, boring and kind of like meaningless, and felt like it went nowhere. And even the series didn't have an arc. The Doctor didn't have an arc, and the series didn't really have an arc, apart from Tim Shaw popping up here and there to annoy the fuck out of me. Season 12 I thought was a really good improvement, but still I'm sat there scratching my head wondering why they did The Timeless Child. I still don't know why they did it, and we've literally got 2 episodes left. We kept saying to ourselves, oh, don't worry, they'll explain it next season, and now we've got 2 episodes left. And we still don't know. And I don't know how they're going to do that, because the next episode doesn't look like they're going to wrap it up in that one. So it just leaves it for the final, which I assume is an hour. And that's just like, you're giving yourself too much work to do. And it's like, if you're going to do it, I don't agree with it. But if you're going to do it, I respect the fact you're going to do it and you're being ambitious. But at least wrap it up and at least have the reason for doing it. I kind of feel like they started it and didn't know what to do with it in the end. And does that help Jodie's Doctor at all? No, it leaves you even more confused. And that's hurtful. It's hard. And Jodie as an actress, I genuinely think is great. Like, her portrayal of this character in Broadchurch is definitely one of the best just actresses I've seen in like a TV show. And there's literally a scene in season 1, episode 1 on a beach, and I'm sure if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about, but I won't go into it now because I think you should watch it, where I'm speechless about how great of an actress she is. It would be such a hard scene to do, and she completely nails it. So it's not like she doesn't know what she's doing, but don't give an actor the right thing to do. Don't give them the right stuff to work with. You know, you're going to struggle. I know from briefly acting back in like high school and middle school, whenever I was given a monologue to do, which just didn't fit me as like, I guess, an actor. That sounds really, really cheesy, but as an actor, I guess, it was really difficult to do because I feel like this isn't the stuff that I would normally do, and it doesn't really fit with me, and I just don't get why I was put to do this when it's just not gonna work. I feel like that is what happened with her Doctor. They almost like didn't sit down and have a conversation about, okay, what would work for this character? What do you think would work as an actress? Like, what do you think would fit for your Doctor? It just didn't make sense. Like, I can't help but feel like it just didn't add up. Like, I feel like this all could have been solved by a few conversations over a couple of weeks, but it didn't happen. So, but you know, I definitely feel like it got better each season. I found the Flux very enjoyable, though just mind-numbing and just badly written. I just, you know, kind of, I guess, like the fact that I sort of was just enjoying myself rather than just putting my hands in my head and wanting to cry. And I even really enjoyed Eve the Daleks. These are not by any means like amazingly written episodes. Very far from it, actually. But still, just actually quite enjoyable, which is great. And I feel like I'm finally starting to get a little bit of an idea about what her doctor is, which is, by the way, socially awkward and not liking to talk about her feelings. Which is, if that's what they're going to go for, I don't necessarily think it's great, but at least run with it. And that's kind of been enjoyable to watch, though quite mind-numbing and very, very confusing and just quite frankly sad. And of course, we've got 2 episodes left, and I really hope a lot of this stuff I'm complaining about gets resolved, but come on, man, like, do we really think it's going to be, like, wrapped up perfectly? I really doubt it. I want it to be, but I really doubt it. Now, briefly, let's talk real quick at the end of the video about, of course, the 14th Doctor. Russell T Davies is back in 2 episodes to take over the show. 60th anniversary special will be the first episode for the new Doctor. Apparently they're casting now, which doesn't really make sense because I'm 9% sure they filmed the regeneration scene in the TARDIS, which is why they kept it up even after Jodie had finished. Would make sense. Maybe it's not in the TARDIS though, who knows. But regardlessly, I think it's going to be a female Doctor. I have literally no issues with that. As I'm sure most of you feel, I do not have a problem at all with the next Doctor being a female. I really do think Russell is the perfect person to, again, it's not a female writer, but I feel like he could be probably the best option before hiring a female writer. I mean, obviously the BBC know they're in a bit of strain, like all this hatred towards Chris Chibnall and Jodie. I think they definitely did hear it. I think for a while they tried to ignore it, but even if it was like positive criticism, they heard it, which is why they brought Russell back. And I don't think if you see it that way, I don't know if you're seeing it right, because I do think a big reason why they brought back Russell, who made our childhoods, if they are going to go down that route of hiring a woman again, which I really do think they're going to do, I really hope this time they take it a lot more seriously and actually discuss character arc. I do truly think that Russell's going to do a great job about it. I really do think also companions are important to the Doctor to bounce off of and have some great scenes with. Where, you know, what did we get with Joe's companions? I like Bradley Walsh, but I liked his character because he's Bradley Walsh. I like John Bishop because it's John Bishop, you know, but people cried when Rose left. People cried when Donna left. People bawled their eyes out when Amy and Rory left. Who bawled their eyes out when Ryan and Graham from Sheffield left? I don't think I've met a single person or heard a single person who did. So I do think that Russell's taking his time to pick the perfect Doctor and the perfect companions, and I think it's going to work out great. There is a lot of hatred in the community, but I think a lot of us are all together. I saw this Twitter thread a while ago, it was like a couple of days ago, and it was basically saying, like, what are your honest thoughts on, like, Jodie Whittaker's era and Jodie as the Doctor? And it was the first time in a while I've seen a Twitter thread where everyone was just respectfully agreeing and disagreeing with each other, and that's what we need to have. But a lot of it was just like, I genuinely don't feel anything towards Jodie's Doctor, and that's really sad. She's going into episodes. I really do think we need to show the show as much love as we can. We need to show Jodie as much love as we can, because let's be real, it's really not her fault. I would love to hear your opinions down below about what you think about Jodie's Doctor. You can disagree with me if you want. I would love to have a conversation about different people's opinions. I know people love her Doctor and have no issue with her Doctor, and that's absolutely fantastic. I genuinely wish with all my heart I could feel that way, but I feel like it just could have been done so much better, and I genuinely do just feel really sorry for Jodie Whittaker. So there's that. I will post to Instagram like a little question saying, like, you know, what topic video should I do. I'm sure Aiden will do some soon, and if they do really well, I might up the production value, not just me sat here in a Teddy Fresh jumper talking into my mic, sat down and with blinds behind me and, you know, filming on my iPhone. Yeah. But we'll see how we go. So here's to Jodie's last 2 episodes. I hope they're great. And thank you for watching. Subscribe. We do weekly reviews. So that's cool. No one's ever done that before. Weekly reviews of a rewatch show of Doctor Who. This is a first. Why does this channel only have 16 subscribers to the day I'm filming this video? I'm gonna stop now. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you, everybody. Much love. I will see you next time. Thank you. Peace and love. Okay, I'm done. All right, thanks, guys. Goodbye.